I hate jump scares.
Yeah!
I honestly think they're the artistic equivalent of hooking my junk up to a car battery and smirking every time I scream. It's hard to digest the themes of your art when my anxiety has skyrocketed to that of a priest wrapped in pride flags. What I mean to say is I'm a massive wimp, a sort of paradoxical wimp that won't flinch at a cartel beheading, but himself over a toaster.
It's the anticipation of knowing it's coming. This is taking forever.
So when I heard horses is completely jump scare free, my interest peaked even higher than it did upon hearing it was banned from Steam and Epic. We all love a banned game, because that notoriety promises some f***ed up the kind of that gets you nuked from storefronts as hard as a school shooting simulator apparently, so it must be good. And as a feral child who was raised by a wild pack of live leak videos, I'm no stranger to morbid curiosity. That's probably why you clicked this video, because you want to see some f***ed up through the eyes of someone else. So I'll spare you the wanky rant about corporate monopolies and the censorship of transgressive art, and we'll cut to the chase.
Horses.
I am.
Horses managed to shock me not with the improvised bull taser of jump scares, but by forcing me to become something worse. A horse girly. You see, developer Santa Ragione has made a horror game that plays like a piece of extreme cinema. The polite way of saying it's a walking sim about complicity in a hyper-religious human stable. Made in collaboration with director and newest addition to my Nightmare Blunt rotation, Andrea Luco Bolera. It only cost me £4 on GOG, and they've just about broken even off the back of the whole banning fiasco, so consider playing it yourself, because there's going to be a lot of spoilers ahead. That said, some of it's so fucked up I can't show it anyway. Besides, if you thought you'd feel full just from watching me chew the grayscale meat, well, you're just as crazy as a gimpy farmer that treats his captives like cattle. Wait, horses aren't cattle? The first thing you'll notice about horses is it's entirely monochrome and bound to a 4:3 aspect ratio. Just like those A24 art house horror films where they get Willem Dafoe to say stuff like,
"You're fond of me horses, ain't you?"
Hence why it starts like this. Don't worry, unlike those films, stuff actually happens in the first hour, like this little pop-up box to draw your attention to a discarded horse tranquilizer. I know people that take this stuff for fun. This is just a park in Birmingham. The fucking crows from Black Ops 3 are following me. Here he is, the farmer, and everything about him's just off. A bona fide bookie bastard. But he's cordial with Anselmo. That's our character's name, as discovered through these silent film-style intertitles all the game's dialogue is delivered through. A nice touch made creepier by intercut shots of his low-poly gnashers. We're occasionally greeted with a little choice to make about how poor Anselmo reacts to each horrifying revelation, like the fact he's been ordered to stay at this farm for 2 weeks by his parents on his 20th birthday. His father sees it as a punishment, wanting him to get his head out of the clouds and finally start acting like a man. You'll notice daddy issues are a recurring theme, however his mother sees it as more of a holiday. Yeah, a real typical trip to Butlins this, complete with people brainlessly pissing onto their own feet. Nope, don't like the way he moves. He's built like a water bottle and he's vaguely setting off my fight or flight. Nevertheless, we're going to become intimately familiar with his creepy little love shack. After setting our bag down, the farmer lays out one simple rule: stay out of his bedroom, which obviously made me want to go in there more. But he's smart enough to lock it, so I guess we'll find out later. Cheers game for the free retention hook. He's showing us his vegetable garden now and says it's nice to grow your own food, always good to be self-sufficient. A line that becomes horrifying when you remember there's only human livestock around here and he's serving us more mystery meat. But first, we've got to pick a carrot, because this ain't just a horror game, it's a farming simulator that's ingested too much of the forbidden moose from 120 Days of Sodom. I can identify a film reference, but apparently not a carrot. These buttons remind me of something, so I tell you what, here's your to-do list. Since you're staying over in my video, don't make me snip your tinkle off. Now we're meeting his perfectly normal dog Fido, who's about as much of a good boy as a guard at a concentration camp. It's sometimes our job to feed him each morning, complete with GIP-inspiring FMV clips of us pouring slop into his bowl. Perfectly normal dog. There's a bloke in there, isn't there? It's a good job that constant film reel sound effect becomes background noise, because it makes the jarring arrival of an actual soundtrack carry twice as much dread. He's branded CB onto their backs. Creepy Bojack? Creative Blowjob? I don't know, but the B looks like an R to me, so I've decided it's short for Craig. Wow, Greg's not winning prize horse anytime soon. I know what you're doing, game. You're trying to brainwash me into considering them horses by gamifying their misery. And it's worked. Greg's been a good horse and earned himself a carrot. Wait, good horse in Italian is cavallo buono? Oh. A celebratory meal is in order where the farmer mentions he's getting old and can't handle all the work alone anymore. Naturally, we gain his trust by choosing between dialogue options like yes and hell yes, which culminates in the suggestion that Anselmo inherits the farm once he passes, establishing the insidious father figure role he's all too keen to adopt, and mostly commanded through fear, like forcing us us to sit through 2 servings of suspicious steak. We made it very clear we're full, but no, we've got to hear the dick shriveling mouth sounds for a second time, but slower. I don't like it. At least stick the chase on or something. What you got on this shitbox? That figures. Let's just call it a night, yeah? Okay, the soundtrack got me. It was less of a jump scare and more of a mild startle. It sure did make the familiarity of the tape loop sound weirdly comforting, though, as we start our first day of chores. The farmer's made us some cookies with Minecraft shovels on them. And milk. Wait, where are you getting the milk from? Ugh. The sense of routine has well and truly been established. With each new day comes a new set of chores, allowing a bizarre sense of tranquility to wash over you like water on a spud, until the game interrupts this familiar pattern with something grim. Looks like Craig sent himself to the glue factory. Is that my fault? Was I that bad a jockey? Now my mind starts to wander. Why don't the horse people just fucking rush the farmer? Oh yeah, because they've been brainwashed into thinking they're horses. Except they've clearly retained some humanity, because after the farmer tasks us with burying Craig's corpse in the concerningly well-populated graveyard, we later find one of the female horses mourning his death. So I'm not entirely sure where they sit on the human-to-horse ratio, but what I do know is horses don't pick flowers for each other's graves. His horse name was Artax, but nah, I'm not having that. On day 2, the farmer makes a second rule clear. Don't let the horses shag. You can brainwash their inhibitions away, but apparently not the primal urge to bump ugly. Hence why the farmer has asked us to report to him every time we catch them in the act. Like some kind of horse-bothering Christian cuckold. So by the time day 3 rolls about, you're practically waiting for it to happen. As you nosh on some paw print cookies, the dog's not in his hut anymore. Yep, dog's a bloke. Called it. Oh, there they go, trying for a foal. Of course, Anselmo stands and watches like a little perv. I decided to snitch on them to the farmer. Make of that what you will. Maybe it's because my ultimate goal is to take over the farm so I can free the horses. Or maybe I'm just a sick fuck too.
Well, they were shagging hard, mate.
They were going at it, weren't they?
I was expecting anger from the farmer, followed by capital punishment to satiate my bloodlust. But that's not how it goes around here. We reveal who did it and then put an X next to his name. Looks like Grandma's down to his last strike. What happens when you get to 3? You get crossed off the list. What happens when you're crossed off the list? Well, that's foreshadowed over dinner. The farmer pours himself a drink and starts reminiscing about the family dog he kept as a child. Specifically, how the dog would rub himself against everything, including a priest's leg. A funny story until you remember that dog's probably a bloke too. Then it's even funnier. He then tells us his father forced him to help castrate the family dog. Jesus, mate, I'm trying to enjoy your egg-shaped man kebabs here. I'm just saying, we know he buries the rest of their bodies, but where do the nub and balls go? Thankfully, the farmer draws a line in the conversation somewhere after catching himself describing the dog's screams, opting to relate that traumatic anecdote to Anselmo's daddy issues instead. Sleep well, Anselmo. Quite the pep talk going into day 4, and we're going to need it because the farmer's been drinking again and the horses are loose.
Oh, look, horse on the toilet.
Thankfully, Anselmo can fit not 1 but 2 blokes in his dirty little inventory. These 2 are going at it, which I can't show you, but I can show you what happens if you only pick up 1 of them. We've done the grieving bit already, mate. Get back to your pen. So a fence is insurmountable, but a slightly broken one is escapable. I suppose it's not much of a game if they will just remember their people and piss off to Italian Gregs. They're also smart enough to get past the farm's gate, or at least one of them was. The lady that's left behind only has enough energy to point and say, "Free Dom." Oh, was that his name? I don't need to, love. He's already free. God, these horses are stupid. No milk and cookies today, dog's already been fed too. Daily task just says meet me out back, and oh good god, he's been whipping her all morning, hasn't he? Clearly this ain't her first rodeo trying to escape, and despite the farmer's best attempts to whip the woman out of her, she still finds the breath to thank us for disinfecting her back wounds, so she's retained more humanity than the farmer intended. Speak of the devil, I think he's run out of man meat now. And has resorted to deep frying a screaming chicken toy. Tonight, the polite dinner conversation includes a warning about a certain male horse with a white blaze and some markings over his eyes. A horse that used to go by Fiero before he was crossed off the list for escaping. He likes to occasionally re-emerge from the surrounding forest to sabotage the farm, as the farmer puts it, like some kind of equine Guevara seizing the mains of production. Naturally, I snitched on Fiero. Sorry, mate, I just don't want to lose my nub. These cookies have bow ties on them because today we're expecting guests, hence why our first job is to clean up the nasty fucking stench the horses have kicked up. Genius move to call it manure because upon reading that I genuinely forgot there were people until it was too late and I was face to face with their knuckly Toblerones complete with flecks of hay. I wonder how much of the outside world knows or even cares about these horses. Surely Anselmo's parents knew. Maybe the farmer's guests will shed some light on the situation, given this creepy, ambiguously aged demon lady is here to buy one of them. Fun fact, this lady was a young girl in an earlier dev build. That's why it was banned. Steam doesn't like nudity in minors. But hey, at least the game could still run for US president. She's the first to address the horse in the room. The fact they're not actually horses. Before adding,
You know, the way they used to live, a lot of people find that unacceptable. People exhibiting immoral behavior also have dangerous ideas.
well, that's ominously vague and eloquently put for what would have been a child. For now, I've decided it's where Findus sources its lasagna meat from. That's a 2013 reference for you. She then reveals the whole racket's funded by her father, who looks like Mr. Potato Head with the 1,000-yard stare set in.
Like my dad always says, each of us is a cog in the machine. We must all do our duty so society can function properly.
Something tells me we're not going to learn much about the ambiguously dated and potentially fascist Italian backdrop. That's part of the game's miserable charm.
Everyone who lives their life recklessly and indulgently ends up exactly where they deserve. Do you know what I mean?
I said no to try and conjure further insight, but she just says that's a shame. Then a final harrowing line before pissing off for good.
I hope you get to live your entire life as a human being. Good luck.
I think the farmer's starting to like us given the hearts on the cookies and the giant me like you on the chores list. Scrolled like a creepy fucking baby man. Oh, you naughty horses, that's not what the farmer meant by ploughing. Now get back to work. I ruined the shot because I didn't want to stare at his ass. Dinner with the farmer goes nicely for once. Despite his tasteful choice of disturbingly recontextualized softcore horse porn cartoons, one thing you should know about the farmer is things get really freaky when he drinks. Oh look, here he goes proposing a toast to our first week surviving Clarkson's farm. Fuck it, gonna need it for what's to come. After necking what I'm choosing to believe is extremely dehydrated horse piss, the farmer insists we have another, before drunkenly musing about how he's getting old and doesn't have anyone to manage the farm when he's gone. Of course, Anselmo's only response option is nothing, so you fucked your chance there, mate. He then suggests we rest, but if the Alki farmer's staying up for a few more drinks, then that's the last thing we're gonna do. What do you know, the dread music's back, and the farmer's left his bedroom door open, which considering I've tried to handle every day since my arrival, I couldn't wait to go play sexy Sherlock in his bedroom, upturning every stone to gather as much insight into his perversions as possible. Now I know why forensics quit so much. At least it didn't take much work deducing the origins of his passion for horseplay. I mean, just look at these drawings he's kept from his youth. But it gets worse because, ta-da, he's got a fuck doll in his closet that doubles up as a sort of religious manifesto given the whip, the gag, the Bible and the chastity belt. I've played The Binding of Isaac, I know where this is going. He's standing behind me, isn't he? No, but this locked cabinet of VHS tapes is. I bet one of them's a copy of Warhorse with white stains on it.
Finally got to have a look in his...
Oh.
Okay, how the fuck do I describe this next part? So, the farmer's watching the dog go to work on a lady horse and scratching at his chastity belt like he's deriving a sick theological high from his own restraint. It's grotesquely mucky, but so tastefully shot it's practically begging for you to not put it next to the human centipede on your shelf of filth. But we all know what's going on and it ain't consensual. Clearly quite the night out because the farmer's got a hangover, dismissing us to go do our chores. I guess witnessing a midnight violation doesn't grant you a lion around here. As we check in on the horses, we find the lady horse victim has collapsed, so we notify the farmer and he calls the vet. The list of people complicit in this wild ride is increasing, starting to think most of the outside world's in on this farm. Then again, this guy's as much of a vet as landlords are interior decorators, but he's all we've got if we're to try and save Horse Girl here. Poor creature. That man is up to no good again, isn't he? So it's not the human stable, it's one dog, one horse where he draws the line. Of course, it's my job to scoop her up with the wheelbarrow and dump her in the tool shed. Only good things happen in a tool shed, things we can only imagine because he wants privacy. But don't worry, he reassures us of the wonders of modern medicine before handing us a nasty little vial of horse yogurt the farmer's obviously asked for. I knew I was right about the milk. This'll perk you up, Mr. Farmer. I'll pop it in the fridge there for you, mate. Grandma's fallen to his knees, likely either guilt or because he knows he's going to catch all the blame for having contributed to her fuck-based demise a day earlier. Come on now, super vet, you best not be doing anything dodgy in there. How long does modern medicine take? Finally, he answers, revealing his blood-soaked clothing and announcing, I'm sorry, she's dead. I joke about his credentials. He could be a great vet. It's just, you know, she's a person. Oh, you buggered her too, didn't you? The farmer's not even being subtle with it anymore. He's baked knobs onto these ones. A literal hobnob. Task just says I'm in the tool shed and uh-oh, Grandma's hit strike 3. Oh, for fuck's sake, I definitely can't show you this. Remember those old Flash games where you roleplay as a medieval surgeon? Yeah, it's a bit like that, but we're removing his carrot and sewing up the wound. Neutering him as punishment for fornicating that lady horse to death, even though the farmer ordered his dog to do it too, like an absolute hypocrite. He's just reliving his childhood dog castration anecdote, but as the father this time, passing his generational trauma onto blood-spattered Ansi here. But his day's not a total write-off yet, because as we're laboriously mopping up the eunuch's crotch blood, in comes the lady horse whose back wounds we disinfected earlier. Her name's Linda and she likes Ansamo very much. The only part I'm going to show you from this next bit is this. Cheers, Linda. She wants to meet again tomorrow behind the graveyard. Oh, how erotic. Sausage tonight, eh? That's a bit on the knob, isn't it? Even the TV has a genital mutilation vibe to it. It couldn't be any more obvious. The cookies, the telly, the meals. The farmer never takes a day off from trying to subliminally slip your hooves in his mouth like a countryside Quentin. Settle in for an incel sob story, because now he's getting personal. Some girl the farmer used to love wasn't very nice to him and, quote, chose the path of sin. So that's how it's actually a woman's fault he brands people now. Remember that, Ansi. People will always disappoint you. You're a good young man. You'd never disappoint me. Nah, mate, never. Fancy a pint down the nag's head. Horsehead cookies? Does the farmer know? Oh shit, we're on his list of top shaggers, so I think he knows. Oh well, still got 2 more strikes, so hot girl summer continues. I wonder how he found out. Maybe Fido can smell it. No time to ponder though, because he's asked us to go force Gramo the eunuch back to work. Look at the poor bastard, collapsed to his knees out here in the field. I feel sorry for him. I like having a willy too. Clifford the big red twat is back to give us one hell of a choice. Carrot or whip. I mean, let's cut the guy some slack, eh? Come on, mate. You're a good horse. Just try not to thinkle about your missing tinkle. Oh, he's not impressed. I suppose in hindsight, the carrot was just insult to injury. Dog's a little mad at us now too. Hence why he's penalising our pathetic display of empathy by making us choose again, but this time the punishment option's worse. The carrots didn't work, and we've got to get him back to work one way or another, so one slap and off he goes. No thanks from the farmer. He just says he's going away for an hour or two, and we've got chores to do. Fucking dead-eyed stare, turnip-breasted, whoopee cushion-looking motherfucker. Chop the wood, water the crops, and the horses are singing again. Where's Linda? I fancy getting randy after that. Here she is, and she's singing as well. Oh, you came. You nice. You help us? I show you my friend. Her friend being this brick. Or rather, Fiero waiting for us on the other side of it. Oh, I see. Linda's not after my sugar cubes again. She wants me to help him escape. Oh, go on then. The plan is simple. Find something sharp and cut a hole in the outer fence with it. Then slip what we've been told are sleeping pills in the dog's food so he doesn't alert the farmer. Sleep tight, Fido, you sex snitch.
How am I going to fuck the horses if I get castrated?
When we return to Fiero, he says they'll escape tonight. Best of luck, mate. Linda says, finally, freedom. I not forget you. I knew you different. Thank you and goodbye. Yeah, best of luck, love, but dread music's back. Yep, Fiero fucked it. Now he's strung up like a scarecrow. A living warning to the other horses about the consequences of trying to escape. And to make matters worse, he's got Linda strung up in the shed. But at least the dog's dead. Not that you can tell from his gormless face, but the farmer's fuming about it. Thank God he thinks the horses did it, because he says, there's no more room in the graveyard. And Samo, hand me the saw. We oblige and step outside as he rapidly destroys Nazi Scooby-Doo and decants him into some bin bags. A fitting end for the prick, as we're bothered by a massive fly on our way to chuck him in the dumpster. One jarring cut to dinner, and place your bets for what's on telly. Is it A, a horse? That's right. As we slurp down the slop like a good little boy, the farmer says, you know, I just can't figure out how they managed to make a hole in the fence and poison Fido. Me neither, mate. I really miss that dog and the way he punished my empathy. Cut to another nightly disturbance, and this time the horses are queuing up in front of Fiero, probably to spit at him and yell skill issue for failing to escape, even though all they did last night was paint the floor with shit. Let's delay the inevitable by hiding in the emotional support bathroom. Never mind, we have a guest.
Can I get a bit of privacy, lads? For fuck's sake.
I guess he's a man of God, and he's brought a case of wine with him. Father Antonio is his name, and he's a long-standing friend of the farmer. Super happy to meet us because he's heard about how much of an obedient little boy I am. They love that sort of thing.
Tell me, my son, do you believe in God?
Nah.
What a shame. You'd have been a perfect servant of the Lord.
Oh, which part qualified me? The crop harvesting or the knob lopping? The reason Antonio's here is because he heard the horses have been getting rebellious lately. Or very rebellious, as the farmer puts it, or very, very rebellious as the father puts it.
They require my blessing and a re-education to bring them back onto the path of light.
Which is God speak for our sort 'em out, mate. The church are pros at brainwashing. Poor Linda, or Snowflake as the farmer calls her. She's getting dragged off to the special torture cabin as penance for trying to escape again. Meanwhile, those two up front just chat about Father Antonio's wine. And no matter how hard she pleads and a fractured tongue, Anselmo just stares forward like an iPad kid that's happened upon a Peppa Pig gore video. Even his fuck doll is quivering with fear over what's to come, because ta-da, they've gone to B&Q and picked up a church. Inside, it's your typical Sunday sermon, a gorgeous display of both mourning the dead and adding to the dead. Farmer's gone full horse gimp, and Antonio's getting in on the fun too, setting Linda ablaze whilst Fierro watches from a cross, like some passion play with a weird fetish. Linda's suffering was prolonged by me not knowing where the fuck to go next, and perhaps most unsettlingly, whilst burning alive she calls out Anselmo's name, a manifestation of Anselmo's guilt, because this smash cut to the farmer's fuck ugly mug indicates we were dreaming. That's right, the night sequences have been nightmare sequences all along, which kind of calls into question the validity of what we've seen, given it could just be the troubled psyche of an accomplice. The reality might even be worse, given he needs help with something. With what exactly, we'll find out after another tediously slow walking sequence.
All that drinking he does, it goes straight to his ass.
Finally, we reach the cabin we saw them drag Linda into, but it's not Linda we're greeted with.
Oh dear. Well, we're in for some fun here, aren't we?
We're down a couple horses, so it's time to really test Anselmo's loyalty. After all, if we're the farmer's successor, we need to know how he tames them. Turns out they're just couples that he catches shagging out in the woods. We call those doggers in the UK, but you picked the wrong woods to bone in, so now you're bravi cavalli. First, he instructs us to retrieve the horse masks, place them onto the captives, and clamp them in place. Then open his creepy little medical box and mix a special cocktail of 3 cursed ingredients: horse piss, horse blood, and horse yogurt. A classic margarita. Don't worry about the rifle, he doesn't let you pick it up. Finally, we slurp up the concoction with a big syringe and smash it into their veins. Wonderful, wonderful. And now we have 2 good horses. Come on, let's try them out. And just like that, we've gone full circle. Now we're taking the doggers for a test drive. He might handle like a busted trolley on a sea of gravel, but he's trying his best, god damn it, what a good horse. Except he's not a good horse yet, not until we've branded him. Well, he took that well. Must be all the semen, piss and blood in his blood. The farmer's exceptionally proud of us. We've really earned his trust. If you ever want a good horse, the cabin will always be at your disposal. But you'll have to catch a wild horse first. Welcome to Disneyland, motherfuckers. Fade back in and Fierro's rasping for our attention. Save her, please. Beneath cabin. Brainwash, go tonight or else too late. Find rifle. Sleep. Stop all this. Alright, mate, I'll consider it. But your voice is sounding a little hoarse. Under the cover of a slow-loading darkness, Anselmo's sneaking off to see if there really is something beneath the torture cabin. At first glance, there's nothing to see, but as we approach the horse mask cabinet, we find we can push it out the way, revealing a secret hatch that's definitely too small for the farmer's dump truck ass. We push on into the exceptionally low-poly hallway, until we reach a simple wooden door at the end, behind which sits Linda, tied to a chair. But that's alright, the farmer's left a box cutter next to his dart gun. That was easy. Except never mind, because as we leave, the hallway is replaced by a black void with a glowing rectangle at the end. Nancy's having a nightmare, isn't he? Yup, but don't let the Inception nonsense fool you. Reality is still no better, because that was less of a dream and more of a premonition as we check the cabin for real this time with an escalating heartbeat sound effect to heighten the tension. What do you know, the basement's real, and a lot more detailed this time with bottles of wine scattered around. And the simple wooden door Linda might be behind is actually a fortified bunker door, garnished with a cult-like horseman insignia and a 4-digit keypad, so we're going to need that code if we're to save the Queen of Head. It's Anselmo's final day here. The farmer's going to be sad to see us go, and he's got a proposal for us over dinner. Probably the keys to his Playboy mansion. But first, it's feeding the horses one last time and checking in with Fierro, who's still just gathering bird shit. So we ask about the keypad, and he tells us to check the farmer's bedroom before abruptly passing away. We might have been role-playing Fritzl's protege thus far, but Ansie's had a change of heart after snipping a dick off. So we'll avenge you, Fierro. First step is to enable the farmer's alcoholism with celebratory wine. 2 bottles should do the trick. Look at him, he's fucking steaming. So by the time dinner rolls about, the farmer's drunkenly apparently singing a nursery rhyme about having caught and killed Fiero. I wonder if it rhymes in both languages. Probably easier when everything ends in vowels. I think he's forgotten to mention our inheritance, because he's so drunk he's fucking off for an early night. Or so I thought as he leaves the house in his horse gimp attire, which is our cue to scour his bedroom for the code to save Linda. How convenient, the keys to his Poughkeepsie tapes. I bet one of them's a copy of Seabiscuit with white stains on it. Let's just hope it also contains the key to save Linda. Oh, it will. But it'll also contain further insight on why the farmer's such a tweaked out freak boy. Because look, it's Daddy Farmer. They didn't have TVs back then but they did have camcorders apparently. That I can only assume is being wielded by a baby farmer who had the foresight to record his memories for us. Daddy Farmer's gonna teach his 4 commandments now, each with their own bespoke punishment and B-roll. 1. Obey your father or you'll get the whip. 2. Obey God or you'll get smacked with a Bible. Number 3. No impure acts or you get the snip. So consider a chastity belt. And finally, number 4, speak only when spoken to or they'll rinse your mouth out with soap, so consider a gag. Well, that explains a lot. I'm starting to feel sorry for this freak. These commandments are then drilled into my skull because it's a clue for the bunker door code. You see, each item mentioned in the horse tape is also held by his fuck doll, which when cross-referenced with this handy chart gives us the bunker door code. So let's finally descend into his secret facility. There she is, tied to a wooden X, getting barraged by the farmer's extremely budget PowerPoint of propaganda. We can't hear it, but we know it's fucking loud because of the interrupting intertitles. And it must be working, because even after we've pulled the plug, Linda's still lost in the horseradish sauce. The farmer's left his dart gun down here, but there's no ammo. In searching for some, we instead find a key to the projector room, the source of the farmer's power. He's also left his special tape cutting scissors, which is handy because I'm getting fucking sick of that tape loop sound effect. And thus the spell was broken, the brutally persistent tape loop sound effect finally ceases, and the horses take a minute to stop caking their calves with cack and appreciate the sound of the birds, whilst we appreciate the sound of our footsteps for the first time. We might even get to hear the sloppy toppy. Wait, never mind, she's been fully horsed. Oh, Jesus, warn me before you turn off dark mode. Let me fix that for you. Horses don't talk. Yeah, she's fully gone. Oh shit, the farmer's here. What have you done? I thought I could trust you. This is my farm, I won't let you destroy it. And just like that, we're on the torture table now. Farmer's given it the heartbroken mentor routine. I thought you'd be my worthy successor. I had such big plans for you, but looks like the plans have changed to Big Needle. I'll cut Fiero some slack. It's not fair if he can just bonk you during a cutscene. Whilst the farmer yaps about how faithful Fido was, Linda has a fantastic idea. Bonk him during a cutscene right back. Fucking legend. Took down the farmer and gives a mean blowy. Absolute queen. Let's see how his bloodstream handles a Bloody Mary. God, I love my horse wife. Savour the fear in his eyes, cause it's horsing time. Please, auntie, have mercy. I'll give you my farm. You're such a good boy. Don't sully your hands like this. Can't you forgive me? Nah. What's that, Linda? You want to stab his leg with me? Oh, go on then. I suppose Fiero deserves a proper send-off, even if he did spend the entire game cosplaying as a fucking meat lollipop. Should have just bonked him in a cutscene, mate. Seems like it means a lot to the other horses, though. Not seconds after he's turned to dust, Linda's picking his mask up and insisting we wear it now. So let's poetically do what Fiero ultimately wanted and fuck off with all the horses. And, there we have it. We arrived as a boy and left as part of the herd. I would say it's not much of a freedom, but we lost our humanity long before we adorned the horse mask. In the farmer's eyes, you could say we succumbed to the path of sin in the end. But who cares, because he's a horse bitch now. From Ansie's perspective, between the copious wine and the sad oral, he's had a right stag do. As for the horses, they were shitting and shagging in the woods anyway, so they'll probably just do the same. Preferably the whole herd's gonna wander into traffic, put them out of their fucking misery.
telling me that got banned?
So what have we learned? Well, we learned we should be thankful that BJ Blazkowicz's outlet for his dad killed the dog trauma was brutalizing Nazis, not breeding their kinky slaves. And we've learned that putting a young girl near a naked horseman gets your game delisted. Even if you change it, your appeal will be denied and your company will stop making games as a result. But most of all, we learned that if you dress your sadistic fetish up as a divine right from God, you'll receive the support and financial backing of the world around you. Oh, and if you mix someone's spunk, piss and blood together, you can clone them. So if you'll excuse me, I've got a harrowing letter to send to Lord.